Lesson 4. Fact, inference, or opinion. Sometimes people will say things which are ambiguous. That is, we can't be sure what they mean. Newspaper article. Homeschooling should be banned. These homeschoolers are not teaching their kids the things they need to learn. 50% of homeschooled kids can't read properly, and 75% of homeschooled kids aren't getting enough socialization. In fact, there are some homeschooled kids who are actually being abused by their parents. Well, there is nothing ambiguous about what this reporter thinks about homeschooling. There are parts of this statement which are not sure how to take. For example, how does he know that 50% of homeschooled kids can't read? Did he find a study which said this? Or is it just his own guess? Does he know some homeschooled kids who have been abused? Or is this just what he thinks? He asserts these things as if they were facts, but they may only be his opinions. When we make a statement, we are either stating 1. What we think is a fact, 2. What we have inferred from facts, or 3. Opinion. We often do not clearly state which of these three categories we are speaking in. Prosecuting attorney. Mr. Jones, what did you see on the night in question? Mr. Jones. Well, it was like this. I was sitting on my porch and I saw that man right there sneak up to Mr. Applebottom's house, break the window, crawl inside. He had a gun, so I called the cops. We can call Mr. Jones' testimony a statement of fact. Mr. Jones is describing things which he saw happen, things which other witnesses might verify if they were there. A statement of fact is any statement about something which can be directly observed by others or checked for accuracy. Something is a statement of fact if we can check to see if it is true. This does not mean the statement is necessarily true. The witness might be lying, but at least we can check up on him and find out for sure. Inference. Prosecuting attorney. Sheriff, what happened when you got there? Sheriff. When I entered the house, I saw Mr. Applebottom on the floor, shot dead, and the defendant standing there with a smoking gun in his hand. I didn't see anybody else in the house, so I figured that man must have been the killer, so I arrested him. This sheriff saw some evidence in front of him, and he drew a logical inference from these facts. He's making a statement of inference from the facts he sees. A statement of inference is a logical conclusion made from verifiable facts. This sheriff's inference is probably true, but it might not be. First, his inference might not be logically drawn from his facts. If the sheriff were to take the facts that he sees and conclude that the man with the gun must be the Loch Ness Monster, he wouldn't be making a logical inference. Also, the sheriff might not have had all the evidence he needs to make a good inference. There might have been somebody else he didn't see hiding in the house who really committed the crime. The man standing there with the gun might have picked it up after the real murderer fled. Prosecuting attorney. Can you tell us, Mrs. Pink? Oh, yes, I can. I looked out the window and saw the sheriff bringing that man right there out of poor Mr. Applebottom's house. I didn't like the look of the man, and I said to my sister, that man must have murdered somebody. Miss Pink is expressing a statement of opinion. She is taking facts and adding other information to them which cannot be directly observed or checked for accuracy. This is her opinion of what she thinks the man is like. A statement of opinion is a statement of inference that is not entirely backed with verifiable facts. While part of Miss Pink's opinion is based on facts, a good part of what she thinks is not based on any facts. It is based on what she feels about the man. She might be right, but it's just her opinion. Because an opinion is often based on feelings, it is even less reliable than a fact or an inference. So, how do we tell which is which? It is often difficult to determine whether something is fact, an inference, or just an opinion. Authors commonly interweave fact, inference, and opinion into their writing without telling us which is which. Often people say things as if they were facts or inferences, when they are really just their opinions. Letter to editor. Yeah, I think 79.8876% of homeschoolers aren't very smart. Since facts must be able to be checked for accuracy, this last statement is not a fact. How could we check to verify if 79.8876% of homeschoolers aren't very smart? Smart is not a well-defined term. We could not check to verify what he is saying. When someone will not explain what facts he used to come to this conclusion, he is often just giving his opinion. Exercises A. Are the following examples statements of fact, statements of inference, or statements of opinion? Number 1. The book Moby Dick is a novel about a whale. It is a long novel, longer than A Christmas Carol. 2. Bob. Howdy, what's your name? Ishmael. Call me Ishmael. Bob. You mean your name is Ishmael? 3. Moby Dick is the most boring novel in existence. 4. Moby Dick is a dramatic story with movement and suspense and human passion. 5. I've read Moby Dick, and just about half of the novel is the author describing the habits and abilities of whales, as well as the methods for killing them. The author of Moby Dick must have known a lot about whales. 6. Moby Dick is the high water mark of Herman Melville's achievements. Its narrative and record of fact are superior to those of his earlier works, Typee and Olmo. 7. Whales are true air-breathing, warm-blooded, viviparous mammals. The act of spouting or blowing is the exhalation of the air from the lungs, Webster's Dictionary. 8. 75% of Herman Melville's novels are boring. 9. Many think of whales as big fish, but whales are mammals, just as we are. Millions of years ago, the ancestors of whales lived on land. It is hard to imagine, but these early creatures had nostrils, hair, and legs. 10. The Bible says that murdering a human being is wrong. The Bible also says that purposely killing a baby before it is born is murder. So the Bible must say abortion is wrong. 11. Fred. I want to be homeschooled. 76% of homeschoolers have a higher IQ than kids who go to public school. Durf. How do you know that? Fred. It's just true. Number 12. The Talons are the most skilled baseball team this year. They have the best players and the best organization. I'm pretty sure they will win the World Series this year. 13. The Lord of the Rings is the longest movie series ever made in New Zealand. 14. Robberies in this town are at the highest level they have ever been. 15. Officer. Can you tell me what happened again, ma'am? Ma'am. Yes, sir, I can. I was standing right here on this curb when the man purposely slammed his truck into the back end of that car. I couldn't believe he did it on purpose. 16. Crime in this town is at the highest level it has ever been. In fact, it's rising all over the country. We need to do something about this skyrocketing crime, or soon we will be held hostage in our homes by thugs. B. Are the following inferences warranted? 17. Sheriff. I walked into the saloon, and saw the man over there with a smoking gun in his hand. Then I looked over on the other side of the room, and there was a dead man on the floor. He had a smoking gun in his hand, too. I figured it was a case of self-defense, so I didn't arrest nobody. 18. Sheriff. I walked into the saloon and saw the man over there with a smoking gun in his hand. Then I looked over the other side of the room, and there was a dead man with a hole clean through him. I figured that the dead man must have been gored by a bull elephant, so I went off to trail the elephant. I didn't arrest nobody, because I never found the elephant. 19. Sheriff. I walked into the saloon, saw that man over there with a smoking gun in his hand. Then I looked over on the other side of the room, and there was a dead man with a bullet hole clean through him. I figured somebody in the saloon must have seen what happened, so I asked the bartender what happened. 20. Scarface. It was self-defense, Sheriff. I was busy robbing the bank when the teller said, "You won't get away with this." I figured he was going to kill me, so I shot him. C. 21. Which person in the following conversation is stating a fact? Which person is stating an inference? And which person is stating an opinion? A. Felice. Every book in this library has a magnetic strip on it so that the book cannot leave the building without sounding the alarm. However, if a book has been checked out, it won't sound the alarm if it leaves the building. B. Huey. That's true. That would mean that if a book is missing and the alarm bell hasn't sounded, then the missing book has either been checked out without us noticing, or it is still in the library. C. Lamont. I think the missing book is miles away from here by now. The thief has probably sold it on eBay.